A circle full of dogs. We put in work. Oh, man, let's go in there with a bunch of crazy dogs.
Welcome to the very first episode of 2024. Welcome to Giants Rush. Glad you folks are stopping in and hanging out. I hope you got a chance to let that sink in a little bit. Brand new opening to the show by none other than Authentic, leading the way on that project. So we'll pound it out with him. Love the fact that he can help us along the way, get some new vibes for 2024. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys piling in the room. See you guys dropping in the comments. What's up, Joe? What's up, Derry? See you guys rolling in. Hey, the season is almost over. So we do have some things to look forward to, like the combine and draft. Right now, Michigan is behind Alabama. I think it's 17-14, I think it is, unless something just happened in the last couple minutes. But this is Giants Rush, where we talk Giants football 52 weeks of the year. Giants lose yesterday 26-25. Was at the game. Was an exciting game. A lot of good things happened. A lot of head scratchers. A lot of stuff has created some, what's the word I'm looking for? Angst, about what we're going to possibly do in the draft. And, of course, just tired of missed opportunities. Let's bring in Chris. It's going to be Chris and me flying solo today, taking a lot of your questions. And if you're good enough, maybe we'll play that opening one more time because it's pretty cool. Chris.
Hey, Craig. Hey, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. What'd you think of that new opening to the show?
I was just going to mention it right out of the gates, man. I love it. That's awesome. I feel like I don't want to say running through a brick wall, but I feel like raking leaves. I feel like being productive in my house right now. That was awesome, man. Nice job.
Yeah. Give me something to paint.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Loved it. Love it.
Yeah. Can't take any credit for it. I just gave him some guidelines and he ran with it. And of course, we know how good a content creator he is, and he's a video guru, so he does great stuff. Chris should have left that microphone in 2023. He's got the new microphone, Cole. He's got the new microphone, right?
That's great.
Man.
Cole, once he's on something, man, he don't let it go.
I know.
Good stuff. That's why we love him. That's why we love him. Wait. We're from Jersey. We could take it, right, Craig? We're from Jersey. We could take it.
Exactly. And then thanks, Darius. Appreciate you. Love the intro. We'll play it one more time when we're done with the show. All right, so Chris, a lot of things to talk about yesterday. It's the land of missed opportunity because if people think that the Rams are a good team, I would tell you then the Giants aren't as far off as we thought they were, because I thought the Giants basically lost this game on missed opportunities. We can, go through a handful of them, just blunder after blunder from Tyrod. Too many holding penalties at the wrong time. Too many dropped passes, and one specific tackle that was an outright or lack of tackle, I should say. That was a outright embarrassment. And for the record, and we will get to it, but I want to at least start the show off saying this: I would have benched him, and I wouldn't have cared. I would have benched him, and I wouldn't have cared. Don't even care about all you guys like, you're crazy, you're nuts, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what? The team sucks because there's no one that does the job they're supposed to do. We give them too many passes, right? We just say, oh, they're so talented. They're awesome. You don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. You know what I mean? You don't watch football. All this bull crap that people love to say. Like, hey, the guy's job is to play defense. And if you're not going to tackle a guy on the sideline because you think he's going to go out or he's too big to tackle, well, I was just pathetic. right? So we'll get to all of that in a second. Barkley goes for 39 yards, which is like an absolute head scratcher on how we cannot be creative with this cat. He does have 2 big drops, which are definitely standouts without a doubt. Wan'Dale Robinson, and Slayton have pretty nice days. Slayton, of course, with 106 yards and a touchdown. Tyrod not having a terrible day, but Chris outshined by the blunders of, 4th and 1 being under center and dropping the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then literally being able to walk in the end zone on the 2-point conversion. Instead, he kind of shuffle passes or like flicks the ball behind Barkley and just blows it. Give me your background on what you didn't go to the game, so you got to watch it on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see as the game started? What was the momentum watching it on TV?
Well, I saw a lot of fight with the Giants. I mean, you saw them fight back and claw back, and the defense hanging in there. I think Wink blitzed the most all season in yesterday's game. You saw, you saw the energy turn with the Gunner punt return. But, for the Giants to still hang in there after Adoree, goes for the ball and tries to strip, and then Nakua goes down the field and almost scores a touchdown. I will say, give Adoree credit for hustling downfield as well as Belton. So, he did hustle down there. I think it would have been a lot worse if he just was frustrated and didn't even chase him. But, I think it was momentum going back and forth. The momentum. And unfortunately, what was big was the fumble from snap by Tyrod. That was a big momentum change right there.
Were you upset that DeVito didn't start? Did you care?
No, I wasn't, because I think Tyrod, we all know he's a better quarterback, and I think you have to do what's right for the players. I think you saw last week when Tyrod came in the game how the game flows better. The team moves the ball down the field. There's more continuity. He gets rid of the ball a little bit better. So I think you're doing a disservice to the players, knowing that they probably realize that Tyrod gives them the best chance to win. Even though maybe you want to see DeVito a little bit more, which we all did, but I think doing the best for the team and to the players on the field, it's probably a good decision for Tyrod. And on all accounts, a couple of bad plays, he played a pretty good game, except for those gut-wrenching plays that we just pointed out.
So, yeah, I'm right with you. I thought Tyrod came in last week, was an instant spark to the offense, again, what is great about this team is they are not quitting. Like, they are putting out maximum effort to win games, to be a spoiler, so to speak, right? They're playing good football in some aspect. And that's like, when the game starts, they're out there giving their all. But Tyrod as a starting quarterback in the NFL, you can't make those mistakes. You can't fumble on 4th and 1. You can't not know to run it in for the extra point, or at least flip the ball to the corner and let Barkley run underneath it. Like, he had a couple passes he threw in the dirt yesterday, that just were head scratchers because maybe he's rusty. I don't know, but he's playing.
Yeah, all accounts, he had I thought he played really well. There was a couple bad plays, but I think if he just
27 for 41.
Yeah, 319 yards. But if he runs that one in for the 2 points, we're all thinking about what a great game he played. That was just, go with the high percentage play, right, Craig? Why risk throwing a pass to Barkley in that situation when you have nobody in front of you? Just take it. It's just a better choice.
And by the way, Barkley could have blocked for him to, if he needed it, right?
Yeah, and very creative play by Barkley to scoot down the left side of the line and then draw it back and come back the other way, and he was open. But you know what? No reason for Tyrod to even throw. Just take it.
Yeah. And Darius says in here, we'll throw that up here if I can find where he just said that. Very underrated deep ball, and he's accounted for 2 of the Giants' longest passes in the yards. No doubt about it, because he's not afraid, right? He's got nothing to lose. So he's putting the ball up. And there's no doubt he's got a nice ball, and he's willing to throw it. It's just, again, you got to take care of the ball. You can't fumble the ball under center at 4th and 1. And then when he's not under center, what do we have? Chris, you said it earlier before we were on air. You
Yeah.
know, Tyrod's handing the ball off from shotgun, and we're doing 4th and 1, and it's basically a 4 to 6 yard play.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, the team's identity, we're not this team that just throws the ball over the place. We don't do that. Are we a running team? Are we a passing team? We're in the middle. But at 4th and 1, with the way this offense runs itself, that you're looking at 4th and 6. That's not a 4th and 1. That's a 4th and 6. He's in shotgun. He's 5 yards back. Add on the other yard, the extra yard for the first down. It's a 4th and 6. So I really miss a fullback. You see these teams like the Ravens. We said it before, the 49ers. I would love to get a fullback that could just generate that push up the middle and get those short yards.
Yeah, I agree. So you start off by saying, hey, as I said earlier a couple minutes ago, if the Rams are considered a good team, the Giants aren't as far off as we think, right? Because that game went back and forth, a lot of plays, and the Giants beat themselves, okay? Jalen Hyatt dropping a pass right in his hands to open up the game, right? Which was like, I mean, again, he has a couple knocks on him for concentration or catching the ball, or maybe he doesn't know the route tree. I don't know what it is, but he hasn't.
No, go ahead. Sorry,
I was going to say, Chris, he has not played for a reason. He must be dropping passes in practice.
Well, don't forget, he didn't run to the sticks either, right? We had the 4th down, and he didn't get to the sticks. He came up short. I mean, he didn't clear it out, and he didn't get far enough.
So I don't know if that's like, Kafka, on these guys. I don't know if it's Dable's not on these guys, but they don't do the small things well that make you help you win a game. Can't fumble a 4th and 1 when you're under center. You can't run under the sticks when you're going for it on 4th down. I mean, like, just some of these things that happen. And, a couple of the folks in the stadium were saying, like, Hyatt should play more. What a wasted season. There's got to be a reason. They didn't just not play the guy for a reason. And we saw first game, he goes down, he's wide open, the ball hits him in the hands and drops it. Like, he might just need more time to be groomed or work on his concentration. But, he did come back and redeem himself with a nice play later on in the game. So, but there's a handful of things that happen. Then you get
Craig, before you get into that, just with Hyatt, I think part of the issue is getting off press coverage. I think he has a little bit difficult time. He's not the biggest guy, is getting off press. So that could be one of the issues that really they're not talking about, but we'll see in the offseason if that comes, if that's one of the topics we hear, is that maybe with his size and his strength, it's just a little tough in the NFL game getting off press coverage. But you got to think next year he'll be better with that too, with better counter moves and be able to work on a technique.
Yeah, and overall, Chris, as we were just talking about, is it was the land of missed opportunities, right? I mean, Bellinger, I didn't think the Bellinger hold was egregious. Like, he was on the shoulder. They called it for holding. Yeah. I actually thought it was a good block.
It's a 50-50, right?
But yeah, it's 50-50, right? And the refs want to, they want the game to be about them. They're going to call that.
Yep. And how many 1st and 20s, Craig, right? I mean, they had 5 holding calls on offense. I mean, how many times you start in 1st and 20?
Yeah. And so
negating big plays.
Over and over and over again, with just dumb mistakes, because bad teams make bad mistakes. Like, that's just it. Like, there's not a lot of continuity. There's not a lot of discipline on the team right now. It's noticeable. Like, sometimes you got to bench a guy. Sometimes you got to put the guy in the doghouse, right? It is what it is. I mean, like, listen, we throw to Bellinger, like, where's the stats? What did Bellinger have? Every time the guy catches the ball,
4 catches for 39,
39 yards, averaging 10 yards a catch. 18 is the longest, but we can't throw this guy the ball. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, it's just like there are some head scratchers on it. And then Waller, like, I don't know what the consensus is, but we needed him to make that catch. And it hit him in the hands. I mean, listen, my college coach always said, if the ball hits you in the hands, you should have caught it. And there's a lot of validity to that.
You're talking about the sideline one where he dove and I know that could have gone either way. Good, great players make that catch. That led him a little bit, and I think that was the one off of Tyrod's back foot, right? He was getting pressured, and it was off his back foot. Yeah, that could, great players make that catch, but then again, Tyrod, could have. Off his back foot. So I don't know.
Well, yeah,
Either
Tyrod
way.
threw a couple balls yesterday that were behind on
Oh,
guys, you know.
Barkley, right? The big one with Barkley. Come on, that may be a touchdown.
Oh, yes, yes. I didn't quite think it would go, but yeah, I mean, again, and like I think Barkley still has to catch it, but I mean, you're still hitting them here, right? You know, you're still hitting them back here. All the momentum going the other way. So
Yeah.
offensively, it's going to be a unique offseason and what they're going to do. They definitely looked like the offensive game plan was better, right? You know, I will tell you this: the beginning of the game caught me off guard from a defensive standpoint, Chris, because they came with a 5-man front. It's the first time. Now, maybe I missed it, but it looked like the first time of the year that they went with a 5-man front. You know, they only had Okereke in at linebacker, right? And they had Ward on one side, Tibbs, and then they had Riley, they had
DJ Davidson
Dexter,
a little bit. Yeah.
and Davidson, right? And then you had Flott on the field. McLeod got moved to corner, not Hawkins. So that's also a unique play right there that they had more faith in McLeod moving from safety to corner than put Hawkins in there.
And Roaches played pretty well in the middle too when he got in there.
And Roaches too, yeah. But a lot of times in the first half, I'd probably say, 40 to 50% of times they were in a 5-man front, which is very unique for the Giants, right? Because they run a 2-man or a 3-man front. They had a 5-man front going. So that was unique, because they wanted to stop the run. And then, of course, you had got, McKinney and Pinnock before he got hurt. So, look, there was a lot of effort there, but just way too many mistakes to beat a good team, So let's do this, Chris, because I want to definitely I have a list here of free agents for 2024. And we can bounce back into, the offense and the defense. But why don't you tell the folks about what you thought about not having a fullback? Like what you like how sick of you are of the current structure that we have. And I also want you to bring it up because I think it has an influence on what Barkley does and his success.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at these Giant teams, when you go back to the 80s, I mean, it's a different game. We get it. But you had fullbacks like Charles Way. You had, Greg Camella, all these guys, Hanaski, Hedgecock, Maurice Carthon, going back even further, Hanaski, Hedgecock. And you see what's the identity of this team moving forward next year? Is Dable going to want to just, throw the ball 70% of the time? Then all right, maybe no fullback. But if this is going to be like a 60-40 kind of passing to run, I feel like, we've seen Glowinski in motion a lot. So you mean to tell me they can't find a roster spot for a fullback and work him into the game? And these fullbacks nowadays that are available that do come out of college, they're athletic, right? They can catch the ball, they can block. They're not just like they were in the olden days where they're just primarily blockers. A lot of these guys are athletic. So in my opinion, moving into next season, I think it would be something to look into for the Giants to, look into adding a fullback and not just an H-back. I mean, these yards that we struggle at on short yardage, you got to think a fullback once again, setting the pace up the middle and as a lead blocker could make a difference. Once again, look at the Ravens and the Niners.
Packers too. I'm pretty sure.
Packers too. Yeah. Too. Right.
So, and I'm glad you brought that up because here's the thing, Spartan Mike was out there today saying that Barkley's no good, and then everybody just jumping on. Listen, Saquon Barkley is a unique back, right? He's not a pounded kind of guy, but again, and I forget who it was, but like he has Barry Sanders type of, talent where there are a lot of times where he dances in the hole. There are a lot of times where he tries to reverse the field and it doesn't work out, right? There isn't a lot of holes for him to run through. And yes, you could have a running back that blasts through there for 2 yards or 3 yards. That's not his game. It's never been his game. But what would his game be like if there was a fullback? What if he was literally running with his hand on the back of the fullback, following him up through the hole? Like maybe that's what he needs. The line sucks. And you guys wanted to
exactly right. The line's terrible. Wouldn't a fullback help the situation?
Yeah, and we're going to have this debate, quarterback versus O-line, but again, like Saquon Barkley has been what made the offense go. He's had 6 quarterbacks. He's had Colt McCoy. He's had Fromm. He's had Glennon. He's had Tyrod. He's had DeVito, right? He's had all these Jones. He's had all these quarterbacks, right? And he's also had a shit line for all this time, right? So maybe they just need to realize, like, look, he's not going, to blast through the hole and drop a shoulder on a guy. It's really not in his bag of tricks. So why not try putting a real fullback? An aggressive fullback that's his job, that does a great job at being a fullback, up in the hole at the second level, putting the pounding on the inside linebacker, right? Or maybe sealing a guard. Because, we know he has talent, and know he's not as good as he used to be. He's been in the league 5 years. But without him, there is no offense. Without Saquon Barkley, there is no offense. Okay, we don't have great receivers, and we have the worst line in football. So what is the Giants without Saquon Barkley? We don't win a game all year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He doesn't do what we want him to do because we want him to be tough and run, drop a shoulder on a guy. And he's not that guy. Okay. But again, he could be a dynamic, a super dynamic player, but the line doesn't allow him to. And then of course he dances a lot, So I just wanted to touch on that because I just think, again, maybe it's how the team is constructed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Barkley get some help. He's been the face of the franchise for years. I don't know if he's going to come back, but if he does come back and they tag him again, just give him help. Try something different.
Yeah, if this is Dable's system, what's the identity of this team going to be, right? And that's what this team needs to find out. What is the identity of this team moving forward into next year? Because you're right, the receivers are average. So if they're average, you might as well just get a good fullback and really lean on the running game, and maybe you flip the script and it becomes like a 60-40 running to pass. But I understand the game's got to be close too. You can't be running when you're down by 20 points in the third quarter.
All right. So at this point in the show, 22 minutes, and I want to address, I know there's an Eagles game coming up, and Spartan and Truth are going to review that on Rush Hour on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. If you guys want to drop in and hang out with those guys and talk Eagles, Chris and I are going to run through something that I think needs to be discussed, and that is the 2024 free agents. Chris, I'm going to read you a list. I just want to know if you want them back, maybe why. We don't need to go too deep in there. There's probably 20 of them, right? So let's start off with the 800-pound girl in the room is the quarterback. The Giants need a quarterback. They've got 3 on staff, on the team right now. Tyrod Taylor is going to be available, for new contract. Do you want Tyrod Taylor to come back in 2024?
If the money's right, yes.
Okay. So, yes, you want him back if the money is right. I do not want him back under any circumstances.
And who would you want in his place? You got to give a name then. Who would you do you have any idea who's out there?
Yeah. So I'm only saying DeVito because I'm assuming Jones gets the job, and I'm assuming that that the Giants are going to draft the quarterback, and the rookie and DeVito will vie for the backup spot if Jones is ready to play. I don't think Tyrod wants to sit. He's a great backup quarterback. He's not. I don't think he even thinks he's a starting quarterback anymore.
Right.
But I don't want Tyrod back, and that's not because he can't play, because he can play, but he's still not good enough, to win games. I think he's won 1 game as a starter for the Giants in 2 years. So I'm giving the backup job to DeVito only till Jones, if Jones is ready, and then do we draft the quarterback would change that. Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, picked him up, of course, from Arizona, was once thought of as the next Wilbert Montgomery or the next, Michael Boley. I don't know. We can read off a bunch of outside linebackers, right?
Wilbur Marshall. Is that what you said? Wilbur Marshall? Montgomery.
Sorry. I said Wilbur Montgomery.
Yeah, good running back. Another Eagle.
Eagles. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, Marshall for the Bears.
Yeah,
I don't know, Boley, didn't seem to work out for him. Like, he was a little bit of a disappointment in Arizona. Do you want him back?
I do, because I think he'll be a player-friendly deal possibly, and he's a situational player. I don't think he's somebody in there that's in all game. But yeah, I think he's athleticism, and you saw that yesterday on that blitz. I'm intrigued by him with a full offseason with the Giants.
I agree. If the money's right, you bring him back. Super athletic guy. Didn't really show much this year. Didn't really hurt himself too much, but I did expect a little bit more out of him. But I think he would be better when he started with the team, through OTAs and camp, and he wasn't learning the defense on the fly. So I'm also saying yes to Simmons. A'Shawn Robinson, the Giants trade Leonard Williams to Seattle. A'Shawn Robinson and Nacho become basically the partner, so to speak, to Dexter. A'Shawn Robinson came from the Rams. Do you want A'Shawn Robinson back?
Considering the Leonard situation, if you can get him on a 1-year deal, bring him back. We need bodies going into camp. Doesn't mean he makes the team, but I think a big body like that, and he hasn't played, that bad. He's been okay. So I would say bring him back on a 1-year deal.
Okay, I'm going no. He's a little bit long in the tooth. We want to get younger up front. We want to get faster up front. Teams stunt the hell on us on offense. Right. I'd like to be able to stunt like that on somebody else, and we can't really do that with big, slower, older guys. Like, he is a powerful cat, but I'm not interested in bringing him back. Like I said, I want to get younger. I want to get faster, and that's not the way to do it.
Yep.
Paris Campbell.
He's kind of buried at this point. If Kafka comes back and it's Dable's system, they can't utilize him now because they're mixing and matching and trying everything. Now, I think that's it for Paris Campbell.
I agree. From jump, it didn't seem like a good fit. The opportunities he had, he didn't really do anything with it. Feel bad for the guy because it seems like a really great locker room guy. See him on social media doing some great things in the community, but don't think it's a good fit. We got a bunch of B-level wide receivers now. We don't need another one. Nacho, Raheem Nunez Roaches.
I do. I love the energy. He plays hard. He's good in the rotation. I would like to bring him back.
I agree. I like Nacho. I like a guy that gets a little excited. You know what I mean? He wears that crazy space dome helmet going on, right? Like, just with the black visor. He looks like Joe. He looks like Judge Dredd out there. Like,
and he plays hard, right? He gives 100%. It looks like.
I think so. I think so. And
he made some plays yesterday.
He did. So I do like Nacho. All right, the next one is probably outside of Tyrod Taylor. As I look through the list, with probably the biggest name on this list is Xavier McKinney. If anybody remembers, I'll look that up, by the way, Cold, if he had a 2-year deal. But according to this list, he's on the 2024 free agent list. I don't know why it would be wrong, but we could always look into it for you, Cold. But Chris did the research up front, and he was on the 2024 free agent list.
Yeah, that came from Sport Track. I mean, they're usually pretty good. And he's unrestricted, but it had him as a free agent. So unless there's an error to check into that.
All right, so Xavier McKinney, 2nd-round pick from Alabama. He's basically been hurt for most of his career with the Giants. Came in with a trying to think what he had that rookie year. Broken hand? No. Broken foot. It was a foot?
But it was, yeah. Then it was the hand, obviously, last year.
Yeah, he had broken hand, and he had a great year. Then he flipped his ATV on vacation. Then it was the hand,
but he's played every snap this year, pretty much. So
he played every snap this year. But we both know not until the Raiders game did he actually start playing. He looked terrible the first quarter of the year. Not really sure why. I don't know. Maybe Wink had him doing something different. But last year, when we were all debating over, giving Jones his money, he went out and changed agents, and McKinney hired himself an agent that specializes in defensive backs and safeties. I'd have to think this guy's going to want to get paid. And earlier in the year, I think the cap number, excuse me, the tag number for a safety, I think it was somewhere. Excuse me. Wow. I think it was like between like 13 and 15 or 14 and 16. The New York Giants cannot afford to pay Xavier McKinney any more than $12 million. So do you want him back?
You took the words right out of my mouth, Craig. I don't think you can pay him more than 12, even 11. I mean, the safety position is a little bit underrated, a little bit it's on the food chain. It's kind of on the bottom end, right? I mean, he's played hard. He's played well. Maybe not making the game-changing plays like you expected, like a couple years ago. But yeah, I don't think you could pay him $15 million. There's too many other needs in this team. I think safety's a spot. Is you got Pinnock, and I love what you see with Belton. You know, maybe Belton's finally, the lights going off and going on, and you saw the coaches last year. There was always a sense that maybe they didn't trust him. But the one thing, he's always around the ball. So it's interchangeable. The safety position's interchangeable with the Giants. So you might be looking at Pinnock and Belton.
And Pinnock is good to come down in the box. He can blitz off the edge. He makes tackles. Pinnock's a lot more gritty than I gave him credit for. And Belton, on the other hand, who I thought was going to be a big hitter from coming out of Iowa, is kind of a ball hawk. I mean, the kid really had a breakout game yesterday. He is a friend of the show. In case you're new to Giants Rush, we interviewed Dane last, I want to say it was the end of January, February. We interviewed Dane. Great guy, great family. We interact with him on Twitter. You guys should follow his family. They're all good people. Dane's a really quality character. So we're really excited for him. 3 turnovers yesterday, fumble, 2 interceptions. Had his best game of
the hustle on the Pika Nakua, Dory play. He hustled right down there to make the play. I know they scored the next play, but he hustled his way to get him out of bounds here at the 1. And even Dable pointed out in the press conference today.
Yes. So kudos to Dane, Xavier McKinney. It's been nice. Jihad Ward.
Nah, time to move on. He's been here 2 years. We can do better. He's been.
It's
time.
The dude just doesn't make any plays. And then when he does, I love he gets excited and he makes a couple moves and a little bit of a sack dance kind of thing. But we can just give him the old, hey, out of here. All right. So that's Ward. Let's see. So, okay. I'm just going through my list. All right. This one, the page got cut off. So I'm trying to see who's above Matt Pert. It's Ward. Okay. So, Matt Pert, who, by the way, came in and filled in for Phillips yesterday. Phillips had gotten hurt. And they carted him off. Looks like he's got himself a torn hamstring. So hopefully he can make a full recovery. He's got to have surgery. And Matt Pert would technically be your right tackle, because it turns out, in case anybody's living under a rock, Evan Neal, after 6 weeks of rehab, they have found out that he has a broken ankle and not just a sprain. So there could be some questions on the medical staff. There has been all week. There's been a lot of negative publicity around Dr. Rodeo or Rodeo, depending on how you want to say it. And why did they take him 6 weeks to give the poor kid a CAT scan? CT scan. So if they had done that earlier, they might have known that it was, that had a fraction in it.
But Craig, I wonder if he may have done that in practice, because he was practicing and was questionable. He was out in the field for, some practices. So I'm wondering, could have gotten worse while he was practicing. That's a thought.
100%. You can only pray they didn't put him on practice. And he heard it worse. Right. You can only pray that the Giants medical staff, $1 billion operation, is not that stupid. But I'm going to tell you that, Chris, it has happened. We have seen it. the press around the medical staff is not good. What do you think of Matt Pert?
Matt Pert's been here a long time. He actually played not bad yesterday, but you know what? You let him loose, and if you need a camp body, if he's still out there come training camp, maybe you bring him back just to fill spots. But nah, it's time to move on and upgrade in the backup role.
I agree. He was a wasted pick from jump. I think he was maybe a UConn kid.
Yeah,
sure, he's a great kid in the community, but he can't stay healthy, and he's never been the answer. Can never just find that mean streak and get it done. So, we'll have Phillips will be back next year, hopefully. JC Hausenauer, which is the backup center to JMS. But then again, so is Bredesen, right? So sometimes they slide him over. What's your thought on JC Hausenauer?
Yeah, well, we didn't see him, and he's coming off an injury. So at this point, I would say see if we can upgrade that backup spot with somebody else. Once again, if he's still out there come training camp, you could always bring him back and have him fight for a roster spot.
Agreed. Adios, amigos, JC. See you later. Darnay Holmes, Mr. UCLA. Did not, basically lost his job to Cordell Flott. And, has just been basically primarily of a special teams a player. What's your thought on bringing back Darnay Holmes?
With the new class, new draft class coming in, it's time for Darnay to go, and maybe we fill that slot with somebody else or with a veteran.
I agree. I want to like Darnay, but there's too many people that could just fill that role.
Yeah.
What's up, Tuto? What's up, Darius? To see you guys, jumping into the comments. We are talking about the 2024 free agents on who we want to come back and who we don't. Ben Bredesen. Chris, what's your thoughts?
He's played a lot. He's played okay, but it's time to improve the depth. There's going to be a new draft class. There'll be free agents. We can upgrade that spot. He's been here a couple years. It's time to move on.
I am with you, Glock and Step. That's the last couple we are together on. I want to like Ben Bredesen, but I just see him get beat over and over and over. I'm like, oh, please, this cat. Why can he not pick up a stun? Why can he not pancake anybody? What is the deal with this dude? Wyatt Davis, backup guard. Really haven't seen him.
No, it's time for him to go. And he was a high draft pick, I think, with the Ravens, so he hasn't panned out at all. Flashes maybe here and there. No.
Mr. Davis, we will see you in another lifetime. Okay, this gentleman has basically played 3 games in 3 years. He is literally probably gets DoorDash delivered to him in the recovery PT room because that's where he is 24/7. They probably have named the facility after him. It's probably called the Shane Lemieux, rehab center, because there's no one on the entire roster that's been more in the tub than this dude.
Maybe Aaron Robinson, but he might be second.
Yeah, that's true. What's your thought of Shane Lemieux?
Nah, Shane Lemieux, he's got to go. It's time. It's time to move on from Shane Lemieux. He's had enough chances in the injuries and just not been able to perform. We got to upgrade.
It's so hard to figure out why they kept him in the first place. You think man, Bobby Johnson must be clueless because he gave this guy just gave him another chance.
That just shows you how bad the offensive line depth was. They had to keep him.
All right, this gentleman played pretty well last night, even though he was playing out of position, and that's Nick McLeod. McLeod is a safety who evidently can play corner because they, instead of putting in Hawkins, their draft pick from the 2023 season, they bypassed them to put in McLeod and move him over to corner. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, and he's a restricted free agent, which is good. I like him, and he's a good special teamer, very good special teamer. So he's, you can, like a little Swiss Army knife. You can put him in different spots. So, yeah, I try to bring back Nick McLeod. I like the way he plays.
Me too. I like him too. I thought it was a ballsy move to put him out there at corner, and I was like, well, they must be, content with the way he plays. And he's a little bit slow in his first step, but he does tackle well. Like I saw him make a couple nice low tackles, and he's not afraid to come back and back tackle. Like I do think Nick McLeod's a good asset. I would try to get him played. Cam Brown, homegrown guy, never really got on the field. Came from Penn State. Never panned out from a talent standpoint, but's become a pretty solid team leader on special teams.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good special teamer. I wouldn't mind having Cam Brown back, but you know what? I'd rather have more depth with a guy that can play maybe a little bit more at the position other than special teams. So for now, I would say see if we can upgrade, special teams, and if somebody can upgrade, whether it's a linebacker at that actual position where they could play more. That's the only thing. He just, he's really primarily a special teamer and does a great job. But yeah, if we can upgrade it with somebody that could do a dual role, be better.
I also agree. Like just 4 years have come and gone, and he hasn't made an impact to even to run into a backup job. He's like third string.
Yes.
Right. He hasn't literally been like, hey, we had all these great talent at linebacker, so you're sitting because of what's in front of you. That's not even the case, right? Anyway, so yeah, moving on. Carter Coughlin.
I like Carter Coughlin. I expected so much more coming out of Minnesota, but I think it's time to move on there too. We need somebody that can get on the field and produce, and and he's a special team guy himself, and he does well. But I think we need somebody to upgrade, whether it's at the linebacker position, that spot, get somebody in there that could really provide some depth, at linebacker.
Interesting enough, I'm going to differ with you here. I think Carter Coughlin is such a good special teams player, kind of like Mark Hertzlig used to be. And he can play also inside and outside linebacker, so he can back up a guy like Okereke or McFadden, right? So I like that. And in a pinch, he can rush the passer from a 3-point stance, as he did in Minnesota. So again, he's not going to cost a lot of money. So
yep. And Craig, to your point, I expected him to see more rushing from the edge than we do now. But I don't know.
Well, that was if you remember, they converted him because we had no linebackers.
Yeah.
When Blake Martinez went down, they were like desperate for linebackers, right? Trying to get Carter to convert over from defensive end, and he was a little bit light for a defensive end because I think once they moved them to linebacker, he didn't need the extra weight. But
right,
I wouldn't mind him coming back. Again, he's not going to cost any money, and he knows the system.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't mind. I think that one we may differ on. I wouldn't be crushed if he left, but I like.
I'm on the fence. No, I hear you.
Yeah, I can't turn over the entire roster, right? Let's see. So that would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
We got a couple we missed, Craig, because I know your sheet got cut off.
Yeah, I'm at 16.
We missed Matt Breida, so I'll let you. We got Matt Breida, Casey Kreider, Shepard.
Hang on.
And Jahad Davis.
So if I go to, let's see, on my second page. Okay. There's a couple in here I missed too. On the top, Adoree and Saquon.
Oh yeah. We got those two.
All right,
those are big ones.
Yep, I see it now. Yeah, right. My list got cut off.
That's all right. I got it.
All right, let's start off with Adoree Jackson.
It's time to move on. The money's going to be an issue, so it's going to be moving on. And you know what? Banks is going into his second year, so I think we can find either a vet, and we're going to definitely draft some corners in the draft. So.
Agreed. After what he showed me yesterday, I've never been that embarrassed in my life where a corner came over and just stopped playing and let the guy go down the sideline on you. I mean, it was embarrassing, and he should have been sat on the bench. That's another problem is that we're not tough on these guys. We don't want to damage their ego. We want to be inclusive and we don't want to be insensitive and all this garbage. And that cat just literally just gave up. I'm sure he's a good guy and he works hard, but not like that. That is not how to show young guys how to play football. That's just not.
Well, it looked like he was trying to strip the ball, but I get it. He was more interested in stripping the ball than getting him down. And
strip the ball in the middle of the field when the guy's on his way down, not when he's when you're one-on-one on the outside and there's no one there to help you. Think about situationally, you miss him, he goes. And that's exactly what happens.
It's a chance. It's a chance.
Yeah, you're in the middle of the field. The guy's going down. You got help from the cavalry.
Yeah.
You're one-on-one on the outside. If you miss that strip, he's going. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So I'm also knowing with Adoree Jackson. Saquon Barkley.
Considering this offense, if you're going to franchise him or give him another 1-year deal, I think you try and keep Saquon Barkley because you need some semblance of an offense with the question marks surrounding the receiver position and the quarterback position. You need somebody. And beginning of the year, I was probably saying let him go, but the way things are now, he's a piece I think you need on this offense because you can't replace everybody. You're gonna have to keep something that can scare the defense.
That is very accurate. There is the sentiment we could use a different type of back on this offense, but you can't turn over the entire team. If that's not in the cards. And let me see if I can find this stat for you that I thought was really, really cool. And again, it's a little bit into the weeds, but someone had broken down, Barkley's game since he came back. I'm scrolling through Twitter now. Again, he's still the face of the franchise, right?
Yeah.
And it's how do we give this? Yes, you're going to have to tag him. But starting all over again, I don't know. I don't think that's, new quarterback, new line, new running back. I can't see it. Yes. He had 2 bad plays yesterday. There is no doubt in my mind that those 2 plays hurt, right? But good players make bad decisions when they play on bad teams, right? I'm scrolling through Twitter now. I'm looking for this one stat Spartan Mike had put out that he thinks he's pretty much done, and I get it. I can see from the outside, you see him dancing a lot. You may think, this guy's toast, right? But there was a really, I can't believe I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Coming into week 17, Saquon Barkley was the second in the NFL in total rushing since coming back in week 6. He's 8th in 10+ yards, explosive runs. He's 4th in 15 yard runs, basically breakaways. 3rd in 20+ yards, big plays. He's 6th in actual breakaways, and he's 11th in pass blocking, according to PFF. That's a pretty damn good player, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's top 5 in 2 categories. No, 1, 2. He's top 6 in 3 categories, and he's top 2 in he's top 2 in another 2 categories. I don't know. I don't think he's the worst of our problems.
Yeah, and next year you might have the best offensive line the Giants have had in a long time because that's going to be just a priority at the guard positions and maybe even right tackle. So I think he's going to be coming back to a better offensive line, maybe the best one he's actually been with.
And I'm this YouTube user. I'm assuming this might be Dr. Hedgepeth. Thanks for tuning in, Doc. We will get the Tibbs in a little bit. The good Doc sends me we're sitting, talking ball yesterday, and Dr. Hedgepeth says the best nickname I can think for Tibbs is Spectator. And I'm like, there's a lot of that. He's kind of in the play, but not really. He's on the peripheral all the time, right? But we'll get into that in a minute. All right, so Adoree Jackson, we're both on no. Saquon Barkley, we're both on yes. Which brings me to the last 3 of this list of the 2024 Giant free agents is Matt Breida.
Time to move on. Thanks, Matt Breida. We've seen some good stuff, but we can upgrade at the running back spot. You got Gray coming back, but you always get guys in college in the later rounds. Might be time for an upgrade.
I agree on that, only from the standpoint they didn't really want to give him much opportunity either. It wasn't like they were trying, pounding Barkley and using him in the pass game, right? Because he was known as a pass catching wide receiver and we running back, and we never threw him the ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he was known to catch the ball out of the backfield. Like that was like his forte.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think Breida was ever a fit here,
No.
but
We might get a nice free agent running back. I mean, that might not be a bad idea as well because put a veteran with Barkley.
Next one will be Casey Kreider, the long snapper.
Yeah, Casey Kreider's good. I guess no news is good news. So if you can get him on a good deal, bring him back. He's pretty solid. He's pretty solid.
All right, that makes sense. Last but not least, and this is definitely one that'll weigh heavy on everybody's mind, Sterling Shepard.
It's time, right? Sterling, thanks for your help. Thanks for everything you've done over your career. And this year, boy, you've seen him just totally been phased out of the offense. So, yeah, it's time to move on for Sterling Shepard and utilize that roster spot.
I was having trouble parting with Shepard just because of what a class act he was.
Yeah.
When he dropped that ball yesterday, I was like this.
I know. And he's dropped a few of them this year when he's had opportunities, which is unlike Shepard. But, yeah, we got to upgrade.
So I'm right with you. Time to go, Shep.
Mm-hmm.
Especially yesterday, you couldn't step up when we needed you to. Dr. Hedgepeth says, here, I'll throw it up on there.
Mm-hmm.
Love Shep.
Yep.
But it's time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that is a list of the Giants 2024 free agents. Now, let me just count them real quick to see how many yeses we have for you.
What are we doing next week, Craig? Coaches? What coaches we want gone? Black Monday? Next Monday, all the coaches fall. Next Monday.
Yo, we have the worst. Okay, the kid broke a punt return. Outside of that, we have the worst special teams on the planet. I mean, did you watch Gunner let the ball go over his head instead of fielding that kick? I was like,
yeah. Right, I know. But hell of a run by him and way to fight.
Way to fight, and he almost ran out of gas at the end.
He did a hell of a job, man.
All right, so you have McLeod is 1. You have Tyrod is 2. You have Simmons is 3. You have Ashawn is 4. You have Nacho is 5. That's 5. Is that all you have? 5.
We're kind of similar, except for maybe Ashawn, which you made a good point. I'm on the fence with him, but we'll leave him to stay. But yeah,
Saquon is 6.
Mm-hmm.
Kreider is 7. So out of 24, you want to bring back 7, right? Let me count them again.
So it is. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. 7 out of 24 you want to bring back. All right, just so you know that. You want out of 24 free agents, you want to bring back 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to count mine up. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seven out of 24, 5 out of 24 for me.
Okay.
I couldn't read my writing there for a second. All right, so 5 out of 24, 7 out of 24 for you.
All right.
All right, let's talk about the defense real fast. What did you see? What did you like? Was there any player that stood out to you? Was there, what did you think of the game Wink called?
I think Wink had a pretty good game plan by wanting to put pressure and blitz Stafford and make him feel uncomfortable. I think that was smart on his part, not to let Stafford once again sit back there comfortable. I think McLeod on the other side did a great job with help from the safeties. And Bobby Okereke, what can you say about Bobby, right? Nice keep, a couple sacks in there, or 1 sack, some help. So I love Bobby's command of the in the middle. And, I'm really impressed with Dane Belton. I know it's only, a flash here, a flash there, but it seems like this year when he does get the opportunity, he is proving that he's going to possibly be a starter next year, especially with the McKinney situation. Maybe Shane looks at that and says, you know what? A month ago, we're thinking we got to bring back McKinney. Now, maybe not so much. And Belton is the guy to slide in there or compete for a job, with some incoming guys as well. But defense wise, I thought overall they played well. They played well considering the broken play by Adoree'. I mean, that makes things look a lot worse. But other than that, Nakua is hard to tame. We don't we don't do good sometimes with these shifty receivers. But overall, I thought they did a good job. I don't want to put this on the defense yesterday. I put it with, like you said, miscues and that kind of stuff, missed opportunities.
I'm looking for the snap counts.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I could bring it up if you're.
Yeah, I have it here somewhere. Let's see. Rams wire. That's not what I want. I need. What do you call it? Does a really good. The Giants wire always does a good
right.
snap count review.
I got it right here if you need for defense.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Nick McLeod, 100% of the snaps played. That was 62. McKinney, 100% again. Jackson, Adoree' played 100 as well, 100% of the snaps. Okereke.
Yeah, guy blows 100. It and doesn't get benched.
Well, I think, I tell you what, if he didn't chase down Nakua down the sideline, I think he may have been benched. But the fact that he actually showed hustle going after him, I think that might have saved him. And then you had Flott at 92%, Tibbs at 84%, Belton 74% because he came in obviously for Pinnock. Lawrence, Lawrence is still battling a hamstring. He was in there about 68% of the time.
Even look at like McFadden was only in there 23 plays because they were running a 5-man front. So when you run a 5-man front, McFadden becomes the odd man out.
Yep. Ashawn was in there 60%. So yeah, pretty good. So that's the top ones on defense. If you want offense, or you got it.
Yeah, I got it here, and I'm looking at 74 offensive snaps. Bredesen, JMS, Pugh, Thomas, and Tyrod Taylor, of course, play every single play. Barkley 66, Slayton 64, Robinson 61. Hyatt got a ton of snaps, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about 77% of the overall snaps, right? You got to ask yourself, why isn't he open more? I mean, he's on the field a lot.
Yeah.
It's a head scratch.
Yeah. And how about Wandell? We got to give Wandell some props yesterday. Played really well.
Yeah, they don't use him correctly, and then they get desperate, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, Wandell, let's use him." I'm like, "Yeah, you guys have had success with the guy. Why do you have to wait to the second half to use him?"
Yeah, I don't know if it's the game planning, it's the quarterback, it's a little bit of everything, but yeah, we would. I'm hoping next year he really becomes a focal point, from the slot.
Well, listen, if you're talking about, like if Shepard and Campbell are the only two receivers that aren't coming back, you still now have Wandale, Slayton, Hodgins, all coming back, and Hyatt all coming back.
Yeah, and Hodgins is a mystery too. I think he's only had 15 or 16 receptions all season. So they do this rotation, and they're just I don't know. I don't know what to do with Hodgins too.
Yeah. It's a terrible rotation.
It's going to be a fun off season, Craig, and everybody. We're gonna have a lot more fun in the off season than we have during the regular season.
Yeah,
the real season starts in a month.
Well, so we were laughing about coaches. What coaches are staying? What coaches are going? Let's say, do you want McGahee back?
No.
Agreed. We have the worst special teams in the NFL, despite a punt return. The punt right before that, he let go over his head. There was no reason he didn't field it. It was terrible misjudgment on his part. Let's say Kafka.
I don't know. Man, that's tough. It's so hard to say when you're on the outside looking in with this offense. Could he have done things differently if the offensive line would have been better? I don't know. It's a Dable system. So since it's a Dable system, I tend to say no. because you're going to keep Dable's system. It's not like you're changing the offense. We could maybe we do move on from Kafka. How about this? Can I throw something at you? Yeah. How about if you made now? I don't know if how it would work. How about if you got Stoutland from the Eagles and you made him the offensive coordinator, but it's Dable's system, and he does the offensive line? Because you can grab him if you elevate him.
Yeah. Yeah, I listened. I said it last week. November 14th, they fired Ken Dorsey and upgraded the other cat, and then the Bills went from dead in the water to one of the most electric teams in the NFL. And it's like, hey, it just goes to show you sometimes that quarterback in that system don't fit the offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah.
So I think
we saw that with Garrett.
Yeah, look at Darius. What he says here.
Yeah. Why not make him the coordinator? Make him offensive coordinator. Let him call the plays, but it's Dable's system. Nothing changes.
Yep. Bobby Johnson.
Oh God, please! He's got to be before. I know before the season, McGahee, everybody was crying, but I think I think Bobby Johnson tops McGahee. He's got. I don't want to see guys lose jobs, but he's got to be the first one to go. We need to upgrade, elevate these players with a teacher.
Yeah. Wink.
I want to keep Wink. I don't know what the deal is with him and Dable. There's, like I say, where there's smoke, there's fire. But I think Wink. He doesn't blitz just to blitz. I mean, he does stay in zone. And yesterday was the most he blitzed all season, rightfully so, against Stafford. So I don't want to change everybody once again. I'd rather keep Wink. I feel
like Santa didn't even come to my house this year because I woke up on Christmas Day and Kafka was still there and McGahee was still there. I was like, dang you, Santa. Dang you.
What about you? Did you say you want Wink gone? No.
Nah, I'm cool with Wink. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's I'm one of these guys where I'm a little bit of a creature of habit where, like, if you're having some sort of success and the players seem to like them, like, you bite the bullet, you keep them on board, you figure out what makes them happy, right? And you shut up and lay off him. Like, I was gonna say there's a lot of rumors that Dable's a screamer, but then like 5 minutes later he wants to be your best friend. And like if they know that about him, like that's his MO, right? He vents, he screams, he yells, and then he wants to hug it out. Like
it's like a father. He yells at you and then he takes you out for a cheeseburger.
Exactly, or an ice cream cone, right? Or
he feels bad. We've all done it. I do that. Craig, this is what I think may happen. I think Kafka stays. I think Wink possibly goes, and Leslie Frazier's defensive coordinator. That's what I think may happen. Do I want that to happen? No, I want Wink. But I think Leslie Frazier could be the defensive coordinator, and Kafka stays.
And I don't know how much they're fighting anymore, man. They had a riff and it's over. I mean, like, they're grown men. Things happen, right? Like, right. I mean, just...
How deep does it go? Does it get personal where they don't like each other?
I mean, listen, the defense was playing like ass. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. How many points did we give up to Dallas Cowboys this year?
Yeah. And that's when it all started. I know. What is it, 45?
If I gave up,
first game.
70,
yeah. And the Cowboys don't even play their starters. They don't even play in preseason. Time to go. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Giants. Ready to rock and roll. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I don't blame him. I mean, like, he did, like, I need to look up this Tibbs stats because Dr. Greg says he's called the spectator because like he gives you like kind of some like roundabout effort, and then most of the time he's standing around. Do you ever believe that, or do you ever see that? Like he doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah. What do you say? You talk about Tibbs when he's standing around?
Yeah.
Well, I think we said this so long. Lawrence Taylor, when they asked him before he retired, they said, LT, when did you know it was time to hang it up? He said, when I was younger, I would be jumping on piles. I'd be right in there. He goes, at the end of my career, when I knew a guy had somebody and they had him down, a couple guys, I said, you know what? They got him. I don't need to jump in. I'm good. That's when he knew it was time. So it's pretty eye-opening. That's pretty cool.
Let's just be honest and stop giving these guys a pass. Why are we so soft? Why do we give these guys passes all the time? Like, oh, no, he's really good. No, he'll show you someday. Get out of here. Like, the proof is in the pudding, okay? It's it. Let's go over the stats of Kayvon Thibodeau the last 3 games, okay? New Orleans Saints, 1 tackle, no sacks, no stops for a loss, nothing. 1 tackle. You would think that'd be embarrassing. No, he's going to double down, and against the Eagles, he had no tackles, no assists, no sacks, no tackles for a loss. Burger, okay? And then he says, wait till you see what I do against the Rams, right? Look at me in my outfit. When I walk in, I'm smooth. Look at me. Oh, yeah. I look like Cam Newton with my hats and my glasses. And he triple downs against the Rams with 2 tackles, no sacks, no stops for a loss. So that puts his total at 8 games with 2 tackles or less. Look, hey, great outside linebackers like Carl Banks, even Chase Blackburn, Michael Boley, the Giants outside linebackers played the run and set the edge. This guy is not, I'm not saying that I don't want him on the team. I'm saying he's not everything you thought he was. He's not as advertised. And exactly the knock on him out of Oregon is true. Oregon said he disappeared for games at a time. And that is just a fact of the matter. We don't have a pass rush. We left Stafford sitting back there eating a burger and having a beer. It was like, unless Dexter pushes the pile, unless Dexter decides to do something, because the poor guy's getting double and triple teamed.
We had a blitz. Yeah, that's why we blitzed. Yeah.
Yeah, we blitz off the end with different guys. Because because Ward and Tibbs cannot manufacture a pass rush. And then, like, when a play down the line, Chris, he never comes down the line and make a tackle. He's jogging. I mean, he's literally jogging behind the play. It's really hard to watch.
And with his speed, man, that was one of the things that you thought you'd see coming down the line more.
Darius, I got you. He had 11.5 sacks. He definitely increased his sack total and has definitely become a better sack specialist. But we need him. They drop him into pass coverage, Darius, right? You know what I mean? He's there to set the edge. He has to do more, in his game. Like, great defensive ends, great linebackers. They do more than just get sacks. Cole says most of the sacks are against garbage teams. That's a little bit true too. I think Cole's got a really good point, is that when you need him in a big game, he's nowhere to be found. We were trying to make the playoffs. We had the Saints, the Eagles, and the Rams, and he didn't show up for 3 straight weeks.
Well, to be fair, Craig, he showed up last year against Washington. That was a big game. They needed him, so I will give him that.
That's my point, Chris.
Yeah.
It's one freaking game.
I know.
We can't give a guy a pass for 1 game. He was the 5th pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, I want to see the all-22 because this, I don't know, is it part of Wing 2? I know, yeah, it's not good when you're standing around a pile or you're not hustling, but is he being put in coverage a lot and being dropped back? I got to see the 22 on him in this whole game. I'm going to watch the 22 in the Ram game and see exactly what was going on.
And again, I'm not saying that he's not like trying to make plays, but there's no motor. He doesn't wreck plays, right? He doesn't disrupt plays. He's not an animal. Like, he's not like, oh my God, this guy keeps coming and coming and coming, right? Like, I mean, I watched Aiden Hutchinson or even if you want to go back to like DeMarcus Ware. The guy would miss you. He would go by you and miss you. DeMarcus Ware would miss you and literally turn around and come back and get you. Dwight Freeney with that roll that he did, right? He'd come in and roll. Aiden Hutchinson is like rolling inside and left side. Like, like some of these guys just have a motor that teams are afraid of because this guy's coming. He's just handled very easily. Push him in, push him out. Is he skilled? Oh yeah. I've seen him rush outside and then swim back inside or rip inside. Very hard to do. Very hard to do, to come outside, put your foot hard in the ground and rip to the inside and come back inside to the left. Very hard to do. But I just need him to be a leader. I need him to like lead by example and go out there and make plays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no arguing with some of the stuff you're saying.
This team has got to get better.
Factors. Yeah, there's a lot of factors in play. And next year's year 3, so we got to see a little bit more consistency, right? That's what you're saying, Craig. More consistency and going invisible. I think that's the big complaint of a lot of Giant fans is that he has a very good game and then you don't hear from him for 1 or 2 games after that, like we just talked about.
Yeah, that's it. Like so yesterday again. Someone tell me if they won. It says they're in overtime. Wolverines beat Alabama in overtime. Yes.
Oh, wow.
So I thought McCarthy had a pretty good game. He's a very interesting play. JJ McCarthy. Because he's on the small side, Chris. He's on the small side. I mean, he's like 205.
That's it. Are you sure he's even that? Or is he like 195? I thought he was even lighter.
I don't know. His playing weight in the program has him at 202. So I just figured, he probably put on.
Wow,
put on
that's light. That's.
Here's the thing. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Since taking over as the starter for Michigan, he's 25-1.
That's impressive.
The last guy in college football to do that was Jameis Winston, and before that, you got to go all the way back to like the 50s. So being 25-1 is nothing to ignore. This kid is a winner.
He's 6'3", right? 6'3", 202.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Let me look it up.
Definitely has to put some weight on for the NFL game. God forbid he was in back of this Giants.
Yeah, he'll be on the back of a milk carton.
Next year, hopefully they're improved. But yeah, man, wow, that's light, 202.
Let's see what it says. I think you're right. I think it's 6'3", 202.
Yeah.
6'3", yeah, you nailed it. 6'3", 202. Now I don't know if this is something that was what he weighed when he was a starter, or that's in the beginning of the year. But
you know what? We'll in February at the combine, we'll find out. We'll know the exact number at the combine.
Yeah, like when I look at sports references, they which is basically they have him at 197, right?
That's right. Right.
Yep, and then I see a couple things that have him here at 203. Like even for the combine, he's going to have to get bigger and stronger.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
But he wins, man. But he wins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, look, the New York Giants are definitely going to have some cap space. They're going to do some good things. I would assume that guys like May and Penix, and I'll end the show this way, guys. Oh, and I'm going to play the opening one more time for all you guys because it's so cool. Here's my overall philosophy in the offseason. We have tried free agency. We have tried drafting. We have tried all the traditional routes to make this team better. And this team went to the playoffs last year. We had a little bit of fun, right? And we wanted more and we got less. My philosophy stands as this. I don't care about the draft picks. I don't care where we draft because, all these guys contribute. Like Wan'Dale's great. He was right. And I didn't want him at all because I thought he was too small for the second round. Or what about McFadden, right? He's a 5th-round draft pick, right? Or Bellinger. Belton. These guys aren't always first-round draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are first-round draft picks, they're not picked first or second, right? So just trade out of the first round and then get some picks and come back in the first round, right? Like, I'm fine with taking Penix in the end of the first or in the second round. I'm fine with coming back and getting JJ. Or just trade for a guard. I know no one just gives up guards, right? But you got to change. Joe Shane has to do a job and find out who has an up-and-coming guard or a heavy contract coming up on a guard and trade for a guard like Quentin Nelson that just can do the job. And I don't even care how old Quentin Nelson is. It doesn't matter. Kareem McKenzie played his whole year with the Jets, played another career with the Giants. And he was one of the best linemen.
There's some good guards in free agency too, Craig. There's some solid ones out there in free agency as well.
That's my point. Who's the best one? Kevin Zeitler, and we got rid of him.
Well, that was a different regime. Different regime too.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Stupid
man,
move by Gettleman. Stupid move.
Yeah. Or maybe he wasn't that good.
He's playing
I don't know.
well.
Yeah, he is playing well. All right, I want to end the show. We'll see you guys on Wednesday for Rush Hour. We're gonna review Spartan, Mike, and Truth are going to review the Eagles game, and then of course we're gonna have. Don't forget, Customer Appreciation Night is the draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we have 40 of you nuts on, and we have some fun there. And then we got combine stuff. We got, and thanks to our good friend Authentic, I'm going to play you guys the opener as the close, and we will see you guys next Monday.
A circle full of dogs. We put in the work. Let's go in there with a bunch of crazy dogs.